All right. Good morning, everyone, or good evening, good afternoon, from wherever you're joining us from, and a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for taking time to join us for our webinar today, which is Practical AI Powered Microsoft Solutions for Transforming African Enterprises and Governments, proudly powered by Sibasi. My name is Attendee, and I'm thrilled to be hosting you today as we explore how AI-driven Microsoft technologies can help enterprises and government institutions across Africa to operate more efficiently, scale sustainably, and deliver measurable outcomes. So feel free, feel welcome. If you're joining us, just put in the chat where you're joining us from. It will be good to know that as well. And as we do that, a little bit of housekeeping. Right? So from a housekeeping perspective, this session is live and we'll be capturing the highlights. So expect a polished recording delivered to your inbox within 6 business days. Right. And secondly, we love your engagement and are here to make this experience valuable for you. So our live Q&A is open throughout the session. Feel free to drop your questions and comments at any time. And without housekeeping out of the way, let's jump right into today's topics. So we'll be kicking it off with an overview of who we are and what we do, just to set the stage. And then next, we're going to get hands-on with practical AI-powered Microsoft solutions for enterprise and government. These are real tools, real use cases, real strategies you can apply the moment you leave this session. After that, we open the floor for live Q&A and resource sharing. This is your space to ask, explore, and engage. We want to hear your questions and experiences. And then finally, we'll wrap things up with the closing and next steps, giving you clear, actionable pathways to continue your digital transformation journey. So buckle in. It's going to be an insightful, inspiring, and value-packed session. All right, so here at Sibasi, we are all about services, solutions, and success. And we usually say that we are an innovative ICT and services solutions company, and we are focused at delivering practical, high-impact technology. All this is driven by a passion for excellence and quality, providing solutions at the speed modern organizations require. And everything that we do is geared towards empowering our clients, helping enterprises and government institutions to achieve measurable success through the right mix of services, solutions, and a trusted partnership. And our mission is truly embedded in our name, which is to deliver services and solutions that are deeply integrated within your organization and enabling you to achieve operational excellence, regulatory compliance, and sustainable growth. And that is what we call impact. From modernizing core workflows and strengthening data platforms to building AI-powered, insight-driven systems, we equip organizations to address complex challenges, improve decision-making, and deliver greater value to citizens, customers, and stakeholders. Right, we offer 3 core solutions designed specifically for governments and enterprises. First off is our development services, which focus on building systems from the ground up, delivering custom mission-critical solutions that align with organizational objectives, regulatory requirements, and operational workflows. With regards to deployment services, here is where we extend and enhance existing digital platforms, optimizing them to better support core operations, service delivery, data management, and enterprise-level reporting. And then finally, our technology consulting and support services. And this is just to ensure that organizations maximize the value from their technology investments by improving efficiency, strengthening security and compliance, and enabling scalable, resilient operations. At Sibasi, we have partnered with a diverse range of enterprises and government organizations across Africa, delivering technology solutions that support operational excellence, scalability, and strategic growth. Our experience spans energy and utilities, working with organizations such as Kenya Power and Lighting Company, as well as engineering, infrastructure, and industrial services firms, including Frisco Engineering, Afrimark, as well as Belva Digital, just to mention but a few. We have also supported automotive and mobility enterprises such as Auto Express, helping them to streamline operations and enhance their digital platforms. In the investment and development sector, we have worked with organizations such as Cross Boundary and TDB Group, delivering solutions that strengthen financial oversight, reporting, and decision making. Our portfolio further includes aviation and transport, where we have supported Zambia Airways, as well as public sector institutions, including the Competition Authority of Kenya and the Kenya Development Corporation, aligning systems with regulatory, governance, and public service delivery requirements. You see, so this breadth of experience demonstrates our ability to serve organizations across multiple sectors and scales, enabling each to leverage technology to improve efficiency, strengthen governance, and to achieve measurable, sustainable outcomes across the continent. Now, for the time that we've all been waiting for, would want to now segue right into that hands-on session, and would like to invite Amos Washanga, who is the CEO here at Sebasi and a visionary leader in tech and AI-driven innovation. Amos will now take us through what are those practical AI solutions that African enterprises and governments can take advantage of, and he will be highlighting how organizations can leverage AI to improve efficiency, decision-making, and service delivery. So, Amos, over to you.
Fantastic, and thank you so much, Edwin. It's a beautiful day. I think it's a pleasure to connect. Just let me see if you can see my screen. Just confirm that is loaded. Just let me know, are we good to go?
Yeah, it's coming up. Let's wait for it.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, we are on.
Fantastic. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Amos, as you've heard, and on behalf of Sebasi, together with the Microsoft team, I'm very excited to have the opportunity to showcase practical technological solutions that your organization could adopt, especially in this day and age of AI. And what we hope today is actually to show you, practical walkthroughs of some of these solutions and what you can get from Microsoft and various partners, including solutions that we have provided and developed and deployed within many different organizations in Africa. So to start off, I thought, to just highlight this EY report that mentioned that 96% of organizations are investing in AI report increased productivity. And I think one of the things that we have seen, many organizations and many staff and employees within organizations actually get to do is that, in one way or the other, you're using ChatGPT, in one way or the other, you're using, various AI tools. And if you're on the Microsoft ecosystem, then you're most likely using Copilot. And in this case, one of the main reasons we thought to actually do this walkthrough is just to show you what goes beyond, just using Copilot or ChatGPT or all the various AI tools, just to draft emails and to respond to whatever you have received from different parties. And to start off, I think one of the things that we've noticed, and this is part of the review, the Harvard Business Review statistics that showed that organizations that have embraced data-driven transformations have, in one way or the other, increased revenue performance. The other key aspect is around faster time to market. If you're the operations and you're trying to get new solutions into the market, then we've seen that actually a 44% increase in the time to market. Then the other perspective is actually the improvement in customer satisfaction. So whether, when somebody calls, you know who they are, you can be able to tell, what their specific problem, if they had raised one, and what activities that you have done to make sure that you can resolve such issues. And that goes a long way, in terms of your customer satisfaction, whether, you're in government or you are in a commercial business. Then at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're getting it right when it comes to your customer satisfaction. And then the other perspective is that there has been the Harvard Business Review and the research showed that 54% increase in profit results by embracing various automation tools. And within the Microsoft ecosystem, of course, we mainly talk about Microsoft 365 Copilot, and that in itself bundled with the Microsoft 365, whether it is Business Basic, Business Standard, Business Premium, gets to give you productivity tools that you can be able to leverage to be able to actually, provide even much better service, provide faster engagement with your customers, and even the go-to-market perspectives. But something that is interesting, I think, for the small and medium enterprises, Microsoft recently, I think beginning of December, actually announced discounted prices for Microsoft 365 Business Premium combined with the Microsoft 365 Copilot, and this in itself brings the enterprise grade security that I'll hopefully get to highlight as we move along. So in this bubble that we are in, I'm not sure whether it's going to burst. We are talking a lot about AI, and when we're talking a lot about the advancements in technology, we are observing that organizations should be looking at becoming frontier organizations that are ahead, and making sure that you are delivering outstanding engagement with your customers, but also in the delivery of your services. And what we've seen is that in some of the core areas that you might want to look at are, one, around your operational efficiency and security, whether it is your internal processes and having cost-effective tools that can support compliance and resilience, despite any infrastructure constraints that you may be having. Another key perspective is around better stakeholder management. And in this case, whether it is your customers, of course, for government institutions, you're looking at serving your citizens, whether it is your vendors, in terms of making sure that, for example, if they are the invoices that you receive, then you are able to process them within the stipulated time as per contractual terms, or whether it is your staff, or how you engage and you deliver in your service delivery and in your communication and transparency. And of course, all this information being put together assists your leadership and your management teams to be able to make decisions and to be able to determine what is the next best step of how things should actually run. And that brings the third key perspective of a frontier organization around data-driven decision making. So once you have all this data put together, then being ahead for you to be able to deliver outstanding results, for you to be able to deliver outstanding service delivery, and of course, go to, in terms of achievement of your goals, then having data that you're collecting across the various aspects of your organization is quite key in making sure that you're able to do real-time insights, better and faster decisions. And we've seen these, among some of the organizations, and I think Edwin alluded to some of the organizations that we've engaged with as Sibasi, and in this case, just seeing some of the other brands that we know that have embodied, transformation of their organizations through AI, whether it is KPMG, deploying various tools that assist in the security of the organization and being able to actually determine, what are the any security risks that the organization might be running, or a transformation of how the customer experiences actually are done by the regional water authority. And in this, for other organizations such as Total, who have engaged autonomous agents, alongside Microsoft to be able to actually enrich their staff experiences and enrich, their service delivery, as well as Bayer, who have implemented, Azure AI Foundry to look at how to scale agroeconomic expertise. These are just some of the examples, and there are many, many different organizations. I'm sure probably you are also engaging in one or the other with various AI tools, and you have seen increase in the productivity or decision making or your customer experiences if you've actually embraced, whether it is in a small way or in a big way. And you know, to look at how we have seen organizations operate, I think in with the ones that we have had the pleasure of actually serving, you'll find in most cases you have these silos in terms of some teams actually work together, you know, whether it is like, for example, setting together your research and strategy so that you can be able to create communication that goes externally, or having your customer service working very closely with the field team so that they are able to actually serve and deliver on whatever you actually provide in the market. Or it could be also procurement programs and risk probably working together. And in this case, one of the things that we have seen over time is each of these organizational departments end up either creating their own systems that, you know, support their work, or just using you know, tools that may not be easy for us to be able to extract reports. And at the end of the day, you know, we are talking about when you have this data, then you should be able to actually be able to make decisions and use the data to actually make decisions. And what we hope to actually showcase today is various tools that work together, bringing in the perspective of data, which is very critical. You know, for AI to work in your organization, you need to have the you know, your data right in terms of the where is the data captured for information that relates to your customers or citizens that you serve, where is the information that relates to your suppliers and your partners stored, and then of course if there is any you know, information that relates to your investors or regulators, and how that information that comes from external parties relates to you know, internally within your organization. And what we have observed, you know, over time is that some of the advantages that you'll get with the Microsoft 365 Copilot and well with the various productivity tools that we'll be looking at today is, for example, you know, improved efficiency and productivity. Of course, as you know, your team are able to quickly find information, your team are able to actually, you know, implement, and approvals, for example, are handled directly through the systems. Then you have improved efficiency and productivity. Another perspective that we've seen over time is faster and more efficient processes, or another key aspect of minimizing errors and human mistakes. And we'll get to see how, for example, we had a particular use case for an organization where, you know, you're receiving vendor invoices and somebody has to manually key in those details about the invoices that you're receiving, and just one small mistake and it will be very hard to trace where did this invoice actually come from. And hopefully within this showcase, we'll get to see how AI can be used to automate that particular process and capturing the data as you're receiving it from your vendors. Another perspective is, of course, improved collaboration. By implementing these tools that assist in, you know, across the various departments and across your various teams, then you'll have better collaboration, because in this case, for example, if you have engagement that is going out to the customer, or there's contracts that you're signing with the, you know, between the field team or the programs and operations, then you want to make sure that your legal team has very good visibility about what is happening, and all the contracts, for example, have a very well-stored, you know, information, and they can quickly tell are our contracts being met, and if the deliverables are actually being done as per expectations. And then the other perspective is, of course, having high quality, on time and on budget, whatever it is that you deliver, whether it is to your citizens or the teams that you work with, or if it is to your customers, then you'll have higher quality, on time and on budget delivery, especially if you're handling things like projects and so forth. Another perspective is, of course, around enhanced transparency and accountability. And finally, you know, when you get to do all these particular aspects, then you're able to respond to your customers faster. You're able to have information flowing across your various teams, so that when it comes to the customer experience, you're delivering excellent experiences to your customers. And of course, with all this information being available, you are able to make better decisions. You are able to know where you need to improve and what you need to do to move on to make sure that your organization moves to the next level in terms of becoming a frontier organization. Now, in this, as we said, today what we hope to do is actually do a live demo, and we get to see across various perspectives of various solutions that you can implement within your organization that implement AI or assist with automation. And I know probably you've heard about this term, agentic AI. What does this really look like, and how can this be applied and help your teams to be able to function and operate in a much more better and efficient way? So to kick off this walkthrough, we are going to be looking at 4 main areas. One is around customer engagement. And within customer engagement, we'll be looking at, what are the various tools and how do you use what comes out of box actually from Microsoft to make sure that your customer engagement actually works very well. The second bit is around operations, looking at within your operations team, then how can you, make sure that you are able to deliver faster and actually using the tools that are available, collaborate, very well with the customer engagement teams. The other perspective is around corporate services. So looking at your legal, looking at your HR, looking at your finance teams, what are the various tools that can assist, to make sure that you have better optimization of your processes within your corporate services. And finally, we'll look at leadership and executive. I know we have about 1.5 hours, but we would want to leave as much time as possible to look at the various demos. So let me quickly dive into the live showcase. So to start off, we'll go into the customer engagement, and I'll kick off with a very familiar UI or very familiar landing page that would easily showcase this. Edwin, you could confirm if we can see the screen?
Yes, it's on.
Fantastic, thank you. So to kick off, if you have gone to office.com or if you're on Office 365, office.com, you might have realized that the landing page for Microsoft 365 has been changed, and now we have this Copilot chat that comes on as the first bit. One of the key things that I'd want to highlight quickly before I move into the nitty-gritties of this particular tool is that earlier this year we were interacting with some customers and they were mentioning that they find ChatGPT to be much more capable in terms of the responses compared to Copilot. I'd want to challenge you to actually go and test Copilot, and you'll see that there's quite some significant improvements that have been done by Microsoft that have significantly made made Copilot to actually be a much more better and much more efficient tool. So to start off, I'd want to, of course, there's the basic bits. If you're in customer engagement, that most likely you might want to ask, I want to draft an email to our client. We have one of our clients, Auto Express, to highlight the latest in Copilot. And what this helps is that, previously where, you need to think about, what you need to send and so forth. But this allows you to, whether it is asking a question or making, drafting of emails and so forth, then this is most likely the first use case that you might be having. One of the items that you'll see is that for us in our tenant, we have set up this proposal drafting agent that assists in being able to draft proposals that we, in most cases, we are submitting proposals. So this agent, more or less, it has already a predefined prompt. And then what you are able to do is that I can be able to upload a document, what I've received from one of our as a request for proposal. And then once I submit to it, then what it does is that it goes through a sequence of steps, looking at a document, looking at what is supposed to be provided, looking at what are the key things, and then through that provides and will continue asking me questions, and goes on to, at the end of the day, generate a final proposal that can be able to be used to submit that can be submitted to the client. Now that is quite nice, but one of the other use cases that you'll have is, of course, I won't go into the other agents that come out of box, the researcher, analysts, and there are so many others that are being launched by Microsoft. If you go to all agents, you'll get to see them. But I'll want to highlight another interesting use case. Sometimes you need to prepare a presentation for one of your customers, or even for internal purposes. And then what you want to actually be able to do is go into your PowerPoint, and then you can be able to actually provide first, you can create a blank presentation. If you have the Copilot Pro license, the account that I'm using is just using the out of box. As I mentioned, we want to show you what you get out of box if you're already on Office 365. When you go into your presentation, then and you need to do research, you need to find information, then you have Copilot that comes inbuilt within your PowerPoint to be able to actually raise questions and generate whatever information that you need. So as that is probably running, I'll want to go into Outlook. Let me see if I had this already opened. And one of the things that you'll see now with Copilot, previously it used to be only for premium licenses. You'd have this Copilot that allows you to basically ask questions, allows you to basically, ask it to, for example, summarize this particular email, or even tell you, or even draft a response to a particular email. And in this case, you see that it has already been included in your Office 365, and that makes it, it's now available for you to be able to quickly, respond to various clients, or even get summarization about, if you have those long mail trails and you want to quickly get a summary of the information that has been captured, then you can quickly just say summarize, and what it does is that it opens the window and just gives you a quick summary about what is there. Or you can even say, I want to draft a response to this particular email, and this in this case I can be able to do that particular step. Now that is pretty good, but let me show you another interesting perspective of Copilot, which is around your OneDrive. So when I go into OneDrive, I don't know whether this it's taking a bit of time. Let me just refresh that. As it's doing that, when you go to your OneDrive, you'll have this Copilot button. And in this case, let me just confirm. I don't know whether I shared with, let me just share and confirm that I have included sound. Edwin, you could double check if the screen has come on.
Yes, it's on.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so I have this particular report, and sometimes, you receive a set of documents that may be a lot. And you have to probably read through and get to summarize. So there's this nifty feature that is, of course, we are now probably very familiar with the standard thing about just getting a quick summary about, your particular report. This most likely we are familiar, just generate for me a summary, and this you can do from this side, or you can do it on the Copilot chat. You can tell it that I want to get a summary, and then you select that it is from work content, and it will give you the same set of your documents from OneDrive, and then you can ask it, please give me a summary of this. That most likely we are very much familiar with. Let me just do a quick refresh of this. But I want to show you, what I want to show you with this is another nifty feature that allows you to more or less listen to the particular document in terms of
Welcome to this audio summary on Kenya's economic landscape for 2025 and the environmental, social, and governance, or ESG, goals set for 2026. Today,
Fantastic.
I'll walk you through the main
and
trends
even better,
and strategic
you can be able to
actions
say
shaping.
switch to podcast style. And what it will do, just listen to the difference.
Today, we are focusing on Kenya's economic outlook for 2025 and the strategic goals shaping its ESG commitments for the year ahead. Our basis is the report, Kenya Economic Landscape 2025 and ESG Goals for 2026, authored by sector analysts.
The purpose behind this report is to highlight Kenya's moderate growth, fiscal policy.
Fantastic. I hope you've gotten to hear, that interesting way that, you can listen to it in podcast style. And sometimes, if you're doing a walk or you are, it's in the morning and you want to get summaries about documents that you have, then this becomes a very neat feature that allows you to get quick summaries about your various, the various sets of documents that you might have received. And in this case, what we are looking at is how can you use these AI tools to be able to quickly get summarization, quickly get information that you need, so that at the end of the day, what you're mentioning is that so that you are able to actually engage with your particular sets of customers. Now, that being said, I'd want to now highlight something slightly different. If you already have an intranet, then this most likely might be how it looks like. And if you're using especially Microsoft 365, if you're not already implemented, then it's quite simple to actually implement the intranet. I think, generating such as this that gives you more or less the landing section, and even have sections of where you can provide information for your staff, where they can ask various sets of questions, then this more or less gives you a quick highlight of what, or getting to provide information and communication across with your internal teams. Now, with that, I'd want to highlight something interesting around document management. So SharePoint in itself comes with the ability to create lists for your documents, ability to create folders and documents for various sets of documents that you have. So in this case, we have set up this that allows you to have it's capturing information as it comes in, gets to also assign tasks to your various teams, and you can get summaries about what is there. But besides that, something that is interesting is that you're able to even create tools such as this that you can deploy externally. I think this one we've deployed only for internal use and just for showcase. And at the end of the day, if there's information that you have sitting internally, you can provide it through a chat that uses the AI agents that more or less you can go and ask it questions and say, hi, Amos, I need, hey, Amos, I need some information. And what it does is that it more or less engages with the end users and your website visitors as an AI tool. And in this case, in most cases, what do you probably get a lot of questions on? We can create a bot that uses internal information from your internal systems to be able to actually answer questions. If it is, for example, related to claims, then you can be able to actually say, and the bot more or less interacts with the user asking for some information, and then provides status that is sitting within your internal systems. But besides that, of course, being able to have lists of your data, all the documents, and being able to submit for various stages of your workflows, that is definitely a possibility. I think because of time, I won't run into a whole set of the stages of how this can be configured. But more or less, if there is information that you have that requires approvals, or you have various workflows in your business that more or less require various that require probably to move across departments, or even to have, for example, in this case, a case manager can submit a request which needs to be reviewed by a manager, by the department head. Then in this case, those can be configured within the approval workflow, and even enable AI agents to be able to come in and assist with various tasks. Now, that sounds pretty nice. And I want to quickly highlight that, and you see within this particular perspective, we are now moving into the operations perspective of your organization. So within the operations, most likely you'll have, if you're not already using Business Central, then you might want to consider this, mainly because within Business Central, you have these AI agents that come pre-built within Business Central, and I'll get to show you if you're already on Business Central, then how can you enable this on your today. First, you need to be on the latest version. I think it should be 27.2. If you're on an older version of Business Central, this may not be available. Whatever steps I'll be showing may not actually work. So the first step is there's two agents that come pre-built within Business Central. One is on payables, a payables agent, and the other one is a sales agent. I'll go with the payables agent just to show you how you will interact. You have a request that has come in, and how do you go to actually implement this. So when I select, I want to actually include it, then I'll have that as a first step, and it tells me that I need to activate. When I say I want to activate, then I come here and select which email. For example, you might be using an email such as invoices or vendors or accounts payables at yourorganization.com. And then when I select that, brings me to this next screen that says, do you want to monitor incoming information? Then I say, yes, I want to monitor incoming information. And then I say that I want to actually make it active. I say accept. And then once it has accepted, happy, we have enabled the agent. And now that the agent is enabled, at the end of the day, any email that is received to that particular email address then is going to be picked by the agent. And the agent, depending on how we set up the instructions of what it's supposed to do. For example, in this case, there's this email that has come in from Bryce Jaso. When I click on it, then it gives me some information and says there's actually a document that is there. As a first step, tells me, and this is where agents come in very, very handy, because they are able to interact with you and follow stages or steps of how you operate as an organization. So then I'll say I want to review. It opens the particular email, and then I say I want to see the PDF. I look at the particular set of the information and say this is expected, this is it. And then once I'm comfortable, I just close that. Then I say I confirm. Once that is done, then the agent goes into the next step of how it's defined and asks for assistance requests. When I say I want to review that particular document, now you'll see what it has done. It has read the details of the invoice and gone into the system, picked the information that relates to the particular the items that you are being invoiced for. And then in this case, when I probably remove that so that you can see it it picks all the information, including the quantities, the unit price, just as it was in the particular invoice. And this is what I meant in terms of assisting in manual data entry. You get to actually implement this particular agent, the agentic AI, and it assists in terms of even selecting the right accounts or the right billable locations of what we are going to be actually having. So it has selected, for example, for shipping fee, there's this account. For mousepad, it goes into this account, and this in itself assist in making sure that you do not have wrong data that goes into the system. Now, that being said, we go and say confirm, and what it has done is that it goes to finalize the purchasing draft, and in this case, it captures the purchase invoice within the system, and then once we have this, of course, we've gotten the information, then we'll do the processing of the invoice. I'd want to show you also this. Let me just open. So in case you would want to test this out, I'll share. So we can get to see this live. I think just see if you can post. Let me just have this on the chat. I'll put it in the Q&A. If you can send out an email to this, we'll be testing that within the process. And basically, this is agents that are enabled on a live environment. If we have too many emails coming in, of course, you'll bear with me because it is going to process this. But if you can send an invoice, and then you get to see how a sales agent actually works. You can request for an invoice. We get to see how a sales agent works. or if you actually have a request for a vendor, you're requesting for payment, then you can send out a sample invoice, and the payables agent is going to pick this up. Of course, use dummy information. This is just our demo environment where we can get to see this. Now, that is pretty good, but within Business Central, it's not just about the agents, but basically when you are sitting, when you are accessing any aspect of Business Central, there's more things that you can be able to do. For example, you can be asking a question, you want to get explanation about something, or you want to even get something as simple as I want to see the customers grouped by a particular, by location. And what it does is that it goes into the system and understands the request that you have raised and generates that dashboard. I think we'll just give it some time as it's loading that. And in this case, generates a table that shows you the analysis of your customers grouped by location. This is the power of AI, guys. And at the end of the day, when you have this, then you can think about the many use cases of how you can save a lot of time in terms of implementing various processes and being able to actually, engage with your customers in a much more faster and efficient way. Of course, there are other things that we can be able to do, such as being able to actually request for more information about a particular customer, and it goes into the system. And you can get to test this out if you have, if you're using Business Central. Now, as that is more or less loading, I'd want to quickly show you other perspectives about Business Central and why you should consider this as your core ERP, in terms of implementing various connecting your various teams. So the first bit is that with Business Central, you get, of course, to manage your customers, vendors, and so forth. You have your details in terms of your chart of accounts. This is core for finance, but also you can set up budgets, you can do financial reporting, you can do sales analysis, and so many other things. Now, this is pretty good, but also you get to have these charts, more or less inbuilt charts, but also within Power BI, the capability to actually get to see reports in a much more, clean and very intuitive dashboard. And in this case, if you're already recording information within, Business Central, then it's possible to actually generate some of these reports that assist. For example, this would be critical for your inventory management team, and they would be able to quickly get summary information. And of course, with Power BI, you get this fancy, being able to slice and dice data without having to actually, engage with a developer to be able to quickly show you what is happening at the various trends. This is pretty good. And just going back to this particular perspective, we now head on to corporate services. I know we've touched a bit about finance. And finance, we've gotten to see, as various perspective of finance, getting to see the Business Central, getting to see generation of invoices, the accounts payable, agentic AI, and so forth, which is really nice and excellent. Now, I'd want to highlight something very briefly around your legal team. So, when you're engaging within with your various customers, or whether it is for operations or with your vendors, then in most cases you might be needing to actually engage with your you have various contracts that are running. You need to track the milestones, you need to track deliverables, and in this case, whether you're using Business Central or not, or you're using SharePoint or not, or you're using any of these particular sets of tools, then you might actually need to track information around your contracts. So for your legal teams, then this is something that you might want to consider. One, it assists with your contracts management, and comes on with your, with the AI capabilities, assisting you to, first of all, you can you can create the list of contracts. You can track all the milestones that are related to the various contracts. And as you're drafting contracts across the organization, then you can use Copilot that assist in also reviewing of contracts and ensuring that certain aspects that are required also included. If you are a legal firm, then you might also want to consider this to run your entire firm. So because it has also, your expense tracking, your invoice tracking, and so forth. So if you have a legal entity, you're a legal entity, and you want to also track, things to do with timesheets and billable hours, then this more or less gives you a holistic solution that can be used within your firm, or can be used by your clients in terms of management of their contracts, management of milestones, and being able to, same thing, slice and dice the information. As we talk about all these things, we do not want to forget HR. HR is one of the core organizational teams that actually matter in terms of ensuring that we are able to run the organization, because at the end of the day, it's all about your staff. It's all about your engaging and ensuring that you are able to have a fantastic engagement with your teams. So within HR, there's this solution that also integrates with Teams. And one of the things that you'll notice about all the solutions that I'm talking about, they all integrate, they all work together. They can be deployed as standalone solutions, or we can be able to actually deploy them and have them integrated. So within HR, whether you want to track your time off, which is your leave, and across the organization, or you want to even track spending, which is personal or related to projects, related to contracts, or on another perspective, you're tracking performance. And in this case, if you're doing performance, you might actually have scenarios where you're doing 360-degree feedback, you're doing balance scorecard, or whatever it is. Then this solution more or less gives you all the holistic aspects of your of HR. And besides that, of course, if you're doing also payroll, then you can use this same solution, integrate it to Business Central, and be able to actually see processing of payroll and passing on this information between finance and this particular system, so that as an individual, I can go and get my payslip. Now, we can go into a lot of nitty-gritties around this solution, but one of the main reasons that I wanted to highlight is the capabilities in terms of AI, and I think that is one of the key premises about today. Within AI, the first bit is that I can be able to ask, for example, what is my leave balance? Of course, most likely this would be a number that you'd have, within your dashboard, that you can quickly see what is your leave balance, but just to show you what are the capabilities. And one of the things about this is that it goes into the system, picks the information that relates to your organization, and gets to actually tell you whether, if it, for example, is about your leave balance, it gets to tell you this. Or, you might want to ask a different question. You might want to ask what is our leave policy in December holidays? And you can see the power of this is that some of the questions that might be forwarded to HR are relating to, let's say the leave policy and so forth, then can be able to actually be answered directly by AI, where it uses information that is already sitting within your organization, and then drafts and gives feedback back to the particular individuals based on whatever you have provided as either policies or information around what, how do we deal with a certain thing. I have this particular question, and of course within the system we have the trust channel that allows you to, as an employee, to submit questions anonymously, or depending on how you'd want to set up within your organization, and in this case it assists to have a very transparent and open engagement with your staff. Something else, if I am an organizational manager and I would want to know who takes the most leave, then basically I can be able to quickly get information about how the team, whether I'm in HR or I'm head of a department, it is able to actually go and find information about who takes leave. And what it does is that it is using information that is sitting within the system, and can quickly tell you, oh, Felicity actually has taken the most leave. Now, of course, what you're talking about today is having information in your fingertips and being able to actually answer questions in a fast and quick way. Now, as I'm moving on, you might be having a quick question, a burning question, something that you may want us to explain further or go back and showcase. Please feel free to leave them in the Q&A, as Edwin mentioned. Now, going back to this, we go to the last stage, and I want to show you the solution that more or less feeds your leadership team so that you are able to actually provide excellent whether it is reporting or your engagement within your leadership team. So allow me to close that and then just go to, I want to show you from a different perspective, which so if you go to eboard.cloud, eboard.cloud provides a solution for your governance, for your leadership, and for your board. And what you can do is that, of course, you can go and get started. You can get started actually immediately. And what it will do is that it will ask you a couple of questions if you've not already been enrolled. And in this case, these I'm accessing on the cloud, but also I know for your board, they might be actually accessing the system from different channels. One of the channels might be they're accessing from their mobile phones or a tablet and so forth. So eboard.cloud is available in any of those channels, and they can download and have the app, of course, within the system. Now, another good thing about eboard.cloud is that you can actually access it. You can see this one, I'm logged in on Teams. And once I log in on Teams, I have it pinned by our organizational admin. And once I log in, then again, I'm able to access the same set of information. It syncs my calendar between Microsoft Teams. If you're using Google Calendar, then it syncs your calendar from Google Calendar and more or less brings all the information in one place. It has core functionality, whether it is being able to handle tasks assigned to you. For example, when the board met, they assigned a particular task to me or a particular individual. Then they will be able to see the list of tasks from there. It allows you to see and do approval requests. It allows you to also, manage your meetings, whether they are meetings that have been scheduled for the board or there are other meetings that are not related to the board, but, that I'm engaged in. On another front, I am able to see quickly my calendar. And this is the same calendar that I would see on Microsoft 365. Then it has, of course, your e-voting and surveys. But one of the key interesting things that is there about eBoard is that within any set of documents, I can quickly go and say that I want you to summarize that particular document. And what it does is that it uses AI and goes through the document, reads it, and then generates a summary. And of course, this becomes very beneficial for your board, because then at the end of the day, if you're preparing for a board meeting, then you might want to quickly get all the information that relates to the particular engagement that you're having, whether it is just getting a quick summary, and you can get summaries for documents or for folders and so forth. Or I can even go into asking a question. And here I can go and ask specific questions about a particular document or a set of documents or folders. And eBoard is able to actually answer those using information that is sitting within the system. On another front, you even have the AI-powered bot. You remember earlier I was showcasing a bot that was to assist with the process for claims and so forth. Then this is actually a bot that is trained using information that is sitting within eBoard, and you can be able to actually ask questions and be able to get information around what is happening. Now, for your board, there's also another key area, which is around being able to see your business reports. Of course, there's signatures, you can have your committees and so forth. I won't go into all those, but I'd want to quickly now talk about Power BI and how you can have your reports being transitioned and being available to your board. So in this case, we have this particular set of reports that have been published. So I'll go first into this finance report. And basically, once we have reports that are drawing from information sitting within the organization, within your Business Central, SharePoint, and so forth, then it's able to actually bring in, for example, your financial statement and provide this information to your board or your leadership or your various teams that actually engage and need to get this particular set of information. And of course, since it's Power BI, you can quickly still get to slice and dice the data and get to see whether it is, for example, that one is around finance, or I can go into, we've talked about HR, we've talked about, having all this information being captured in the system, then having these, reports that have been published that are using information that is sitting within your organization, then you can quickly be able to slice and dice your data and be able to actually make decisions based on the information that has been captured. This is a lot. This is a lot, and it's quite interesting. I think one of the things that we say is that in this day and age, there is a whole set of solutions, whether it is from business process automation, memo management. I think especially if you are in the public sector, you may want to actually experience memo management, which more or less you can go to smartmemo.app. And this solution more or less integrates also with your Microsoft 365, allows you to more or less, authenticate, log in, and once you're logged in, you can be able to see list of all the memos that have been published. You can get to see, audit trails about what happened. You can be able to do printouts of the memos. You can be able to, and these notifications are sent and integrated within your Microsoft Teams. There's a whole set of many different solutions. And that's where we come in as a partner. We come in as a partner to assist you in finding the right solution, whether it is for your reporting and analytics, expense tracking, and we can advise you based on your budgets, based on what is your core need or what you're trying to solve, and we can advise and say this is the right path to kickstart the process, or this is the right solution that you might want to consider. So at this particular juncture, I'd want to really appreciate and thank you so much for joining this particular webinar. And I want to say, in case we do not engage between now and Christmas, Merry Christmas and Happy 2026, Happy New Year. These are my direct contacts. You can definitely reach out to me in case you have any particular questions. But I'd want to now, possibly bring back or hand over back to Edwin to more or less handle the Q&A for any particular set of questions that we might be having, at least for the next 30 minutes before we close off the webinar. Thank you so much, and back to you, Edwin.
Wow, thank you so much, Amos. That has been insightful. I know you did have a lot prepared, and because we'd want to honor time, we can't be able to pack that all in the 1 hour session that we had slated actually for us to demonstrate, because we would want to segue quickly into, the Q&A section, and we are really inviting you to, if you have any questions, any comments that you'd want to make with regards to anything that Amos has shared, then now is actually a good time for you to be able to do that. Yes, but I think the whole idea around our webinar today was just to show you the length and the breadth of the solutions that are there, that we can be able to support you with as an organization, and especially from an AI front. I remember Amos was asking if it would burst, the bubble would burst. I'm not sure it's going to burst. I think we are now in that particular wave of AI-driven services and solutions. So it would be great for your organizations. If you haven't adopted, solutions that are using AI, now is a good time to be able to jump on that. There's a lot of efficiencies and effectiveness that you can be able to achieve, operational efficiency that you can be able to achieve as an organization. So I know it's been a power-packed session, and I think right now would just leave you to please put in your questions or comments in the chat. Let's interact and let's hear, what do you think about the solutions? Do you have any points of concern? What would you like to know more about? That is what this session is all about. And even as you do that, Amos, I'd want to just throw one your side. This is from Calvin Oviambo. Thank you, Calvin, for joining us today. And Calvin says, I find Copilot limited in the number of files it can read. For instance, I'm not able to attach an Excel macro-enabled document. Could this be a license issue, or Copilot is not yet integrated with such? On the other hand, ChatGPT is able to read that without additional subscriptions. What do you have to say with regards to that, Amos?
Yeah, that's an interesting, I think, use case in terms of macro-enabled Excel. That's very interesting. I think I haven't tested specifically a macro-enabled Excel, and I know, for example, the ones that we receive from KRA normally have macros enabled. Most likely, it might be a security issue, but where Copilot handles, prevents macros from running. If you, for example, have downloaded sometimes, if you've downloaded an Excel, for example, from the KRA, Kenya Revenue Authority portal, and it has the macros enabled, sometimes if you're using Office 365, it may not actually open, or it will tell you that it's not able to process the macros, and that in most cases is a security, is actually from a security perspective. But Calvin, I think we can connect. Let's connect and get to see that particular use case, just to confirm if it is really from the security perspective, or but I don't think it's related to licensing. If you're already on Microsoft 365, you should be able to actually process documents within Copilot.
All right. Would you mind also just trying to decipher the difference between, the out of the box Copilot that everybody gets vis-a-vis the, the Copilot license? Because somebody could be asking themselves the question, I'm opening up my Office 365 and I'm already finding Copilot there. What can I be able to do with that? Do I need to buy a license for Copilot? Like you mentioned, also there's discounts that are out there. So you probably might want to shed light on that, so that whoever might have that particular question or is already experiencing this could be better advised.
Yeah, thanks. I think that's a very good question. So in terms of what comes within your Microsoft, if you're on Microsoft 365, any of the productivity, whether it's Business Basic, Standard, or Premium, you get Microsoft Copilot Chat. Microsoft Copilot Chat is what I was showcasing earlier. More or less, the window that I was talking about that has, you can be able to ask it questions. It will always have your search. It will have your chat. What you might not have are the specialized agents that are not available. Now, if you would want to have those additional capabilities, such as what I was going to showcase in terms of generating PowerPoints using Copilot, or engaging, using Copilot that uses internal information to generate reports, or engaging within Dynamics 365, or you're using Power BI or whatever the other tools, then you need Microsoft Copilot Business. I think for the sake of the attendees, I will get to share, I think, the finer details about what is available. Let me see if I can just quickly use this to show the key differences. Yeah, so if you're considering Microsoft 365 Copilot Business, this is previously it was just being sold as a standalone license, but right now there's also there's a bundle that comes with Microsoft 365 Copilot Business within Business Premium, for example. So you get the best in terms of the security, but you also get the best in terms of the Microsoft 365 Copilot Business. But basically, you get the chat, you get advanced skills. Skills are the capabilities that Copilot has in terms of within your Microsoft 365. You get advanced management and analytics. You get pre-built agents, as well as these analyst, researcher, advanced reasoning agents. And then you get also priority access when it comes to GPT-5, which more or less has quite good performance compared to the other tools. Yeah, so I don't know whether that makes sense. If you'd want to, if you have any additional questions around this, I'd be happy to explain further.
Yeah, that's great. We have another question here from Bruce Mbudi. He is Bruce, thank you so much for joining us today. He's asking, do you have any solutions that integrate with finance and operations by Microsoft?
Yeah, of course. That's a fantastic question. The solution that I was showcasing, that the legal solution, for example, integrates with it can integrate with Business Central, or it can integrate with finance and operations. For the purposes of everybody who's on call, finance and operations is the higher, bigger solution that has a lot more capabilities and can handle quite a lot of, especially if you're a very big organization, finance and operations does a fantastic job, in management of the, especially a lot of heavy transactions. Its licensing, of course, is also much higher. So we have Dynamics, what I showcased, the Lawyers app. We have other tools, whether it is expense claim, and they can all integrate with either of Dynamics 365 Finance, F&O, Finance and Operations, or Business Central. The HR solution can also be integrated with Finance and Operations. The Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot. There is a Copilot that comes within Microsoft 365 Dynamics 365, sorry, and that has other capabilities. So whether if you have, for example, you're using Dynamics 365 Sales and you're connecting it with the Dynamics 365 F&O, Finance and Operations, then you'll get additional capabilities such as, management of your customer service and so forth. But also, I think in the other major solutions that you might also want to consider would be your eBot, if you're looking at your bot, or if you're talking about Power BI to be able to generate your reports. And even, you can create agents that connect to finance and operations. Whatever I was showcasing in terms of the agents that are processing invoicing or they're processing, customer requests, quotes generation, and so forth, we can be able to also set up agents within finance and operations. I think we had a very interesting use case for an organization that needed to handle project management. And for that, we actually brought in Dynamics 365 project operations that does, the heavy lifting. It has all these many capabilities around project management connected with the Dynamics 365 sales, which does your customer engagement. And then all of this information can be tallied back into the finance and operations for your F&O. So yes, there's a lot of solutions. I think it would be good to hear the specific use case that you have so that we see how best we can be able to support.
All right. Yeah, questions coming in a bit thick and fast. This is by Alex Mbatha. Thank you, Alex, for joining us today. Alex is asking, the last I checked, the Copilot agent introduced in SharePoint can only read documents in folders, but not SharePoint lists. Has there been an update on this?
Yeah, there's an agent that comes with the SharePoint now, and it does a fantastic job, especially if you're doing things around the generation of your metadata. The good thing is that you're able to extend these tools. So we have, for example, using Copilot Studio, set up a use case where incoming emails, for example, in our case, we have a lot of incoming emails that come to our info. Right now, it's consolidated into an email called success@sibasi.com. So because we have a lot of these emails, sometimes we have attachments and they might include invoices and so forth. So we want all this information or project status reports or information that you are receiving. Then you are able to do automation using the agentic AI, basically to pick attachments from documents and then classify them, or if not able to classify, then put these documents in particular folders. So the out-of-box agent is getting new capabilities as we are moving along. I think from the announcements that we got with Microsoft within Ignite recently, there are quite a number of things that we're expecting that these agents are going to be getting additional capabilities. But the best part about this whole agentic AI is that we're able to extend. So we can be able to actually build agents that use standard tools, for example, from your Power Automate, but then connecting to Copilot Studio or using the AI Foundry or whatever other tools that are within the AI ecosystem to actually build very specific use cases that you might be having that can automate quite a number of these particular processes. So yes, it's possible to extend.
All right. I hope that answers you, Sir Alex. Thank you very much for that question. We have another one from Doris Danielle. Thank you so much for joining this particular webinar today. I think Doris is asking, are these solutions accessible for Microsoft standard licenses? So I think probably just clarify, because you've gone through a breadth of solutions today. So just clarify what comes in with the standard license and then what probably doesn't, just for clarity's sake.
Okay, so I think the most common licenses that you might be using within your Microsoft 365 would be Business Basic. Let me just show you also how you can get this information. So it's Microsoft 365. Yeah. So the most common, this is a private personal on the business one. Yeah. So the most common licenses that most likely you use would be Business Basic, Standard, and Premium. So within these tools, you'll get the first bit is the login page that I was showing that has your Copilot chat. You get with all these particular licenses, but that only gives you the capabilities to ask questions. You know, if you can upload documents, you can be able to. You'll get access to GPT-5 in a limited capacity. If you want now to get the additional capabilities, and we can send, I think, since it's coming up a number of times, we'll share, I think, this particular deck or some information about what are the capabilities of Microsoft 365 Copilot Business. It adds a lot more of those capabilities. So, for example, you saw that use case that I showed that was quite interesting, where you get to use the chat. I mean, on OneDrive, you tell it that I want for you to do it as a podcast and so forth. That one you require Copilot Business, and that's just one of the capabilities. There are so many other capabilities. If you're also looking at extending with a number of your agents, whether, for example, you're not on Dynamics 365 Business Central, so you do not have that capability for payables agent, then we are able to actually set up using Copilot Studio an agent that can be able to do the same functionality. I think we've seen even we can be able to push this information to Salesforce. We can be able to push this information to, many of these other common tools, Sage and many of the other tools that you might be using. And of course, out of box, we'll be using Power Automate to actually do that kind of push and pull of the information. But basically, I don't know whether I've answered that your Microsoft 365 Business Basic, Standard, Enterprise, Business Premium give you basic capabilities. But if you would want now the advanced capabilities of Copilot, then you need to get Microsoft 365 Copilot. Microsoft 365 Business Copilot. Yeah. And with that one now gives you a lot more capabilities that you might not be getting with the basic one. But I think we'll send out this information. If you want us to do a deep dive on what you can do with just Copilot chat, there's a lot. There's a lot that you can get to do. We've done trainings that show, what are the capabilities with just what you get out of box. But we can have probably a deep dive session if you'd want. I think in the feedback, you can just request so that we can plan to have this early on in the new year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amos, for that. I think I also want to plug it in here that currently Microsoft is running a limited, discount offer with regards to, licenses, business standards, together with your, 365 Copilot, right? Whatever Amos just showcased there. So it should actually essentially go for $33.99 USD, but currently it's going at 22, which is a steal, if you ask me. Yeah, then so for basically for business standard and business premium, there's good offers that are running with regards to Copilot embedded with your usual business standard or business premium licenses. So that is something that you might want actually to take good care of. Yeah. So right now you can see those are the prices at the market. So if you check basically the standard and the premium, they have quite some discounts. So if your organization is looking to leverage that, talk to us. We could be able to see how we can be able to extend those ones to you, and you can start utilizing the power of Copilot within your business. So that's just something I thought to raise up here, just in case there's anyone who's looking to go that particular extra step. Yeah. One of the things that we had from a while back is the fact that Copilot is was being viewed as an expensive license, and I think Microsoft got that particular feedback, and that's why they have come up with this particular bundle that allows you to be able to take advantage of this, because we are actually in the AI era. So businesses that would be able to latch onto this earlier would be now start making proper advances with regards to how they do their operation. So feel free to have a discussion with us. After this, I think Amos has shared the context. You could be able to, have a talk with us from a licensing perspective. The other thing that I'd want to also mention is the fact that, most organizations probably would have, things around, the licenses that I have. They might have Copilot licenses, but they might not necessarily know what to do around that. So Amos, I don't know if you'd want to share what we do from a technology consulting piece with regards to training and just enabling organizations to be able to make more of their investments from a technology standpoint.
Yeah, fantastic, and thanks for highlighting that. I think we would be also able to extend further discounts from the retail pricing that has been shared. I think that's good to mention. But yeah, we can be able to assist with assessment of your AI strategy if you have one. If you do not have one, we can also be able to actually assist in setting up that. I think one of the key things is around policies, is around training, is around making sure that there is adoption. And we can right now there are various tools that can assist in getting to see which department, for example, is using Copilot the most, and how we can do a lot more sensitization on the same. So you can reach out to us. I think we can be able to assist with that particular set of information.
All right, thank you. I think I don't know if there are any other questions. Annette, do you have any other questions on your side? I think we've managed to handle most of them.
I've seen yep. Bruce mentioned that they are in.
Yes, I think you had okay. You had handled that one, right? Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, so I don't know if there are any more questions. The chat, the Q&A section is still open. If you have any more questions or anything that you'd want to, get clarification or understanding on, we are here. But once again, thank you so much for, taking the time to join this particular webinar. This is the first of many. Actually, let's just say the last of probably 2025, but coming into 2026, we are looking to do more and more of these sessions, probably go deeper into the various applications that we have, like Amos was showcasing. What can we do from a lawyers or a legal practitioner perspective, and see how AI can be used in that particular sector, all the way to, how can you be able to utilize, our e-board system and what AI capabilities, we'd have a lot more deep dive sessions coming up in the next year. So please feel free to, check our website. I think that is Sibasi Academy. You can go there and just look at all the webinars, all the sessions that we have prepared for you, and then feel free to join in as well. But thank you so much for taking time to be with us today. Yeah, I'm seeing another question coming in, so let's just see that. Right. Yes. Yes, this is Jared Ateka. Thank you very much. You're saying let's please share the recording. Yeah, you've been up and down. Yeah, thank you actually also for making time within your busy schedule. Yes, as we had mentioned, the recording will be shared with each and every attendee here within 6 business days. Our marketing team will be doing some magic of theirs and just to make sure that it's polished and dandy for you to be able to just be updated. So we'll be doing that. So thank you so much for taking time to join us, Jared. Right. I think we had set some time. I think we still have some 12 minutes, but we do not necessarily have to, wait all that time. If we are done, I think the session has been quite unique, quite concise, as you have mentioned. We have a lot that we can be unpacking, so we could actually take some time and, come next year would be now taking more deep dive sessions into some of these particular technologies. Yeah, I think that's about it. I do not see any other questions. I don't know, Amos, do you have any particular parting shots? Again, with this Christmas festivities coming about, any discounts, any offers, or things that, the organizations that have joined today could go and think about even as they prepare for 2026?
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Edwin, and thanks so much, everybody who has joined. Yeah, this has been quite interesting. I think there's a lot really that can be done, and the possibilities are quite endless. And we are happy to engage, further. You can reach out to us. Of course, yes, we do have a lot of ongoing offers. I think for Smart Memo, there's a special offer. There's a special offer also for eBoard. Currently, I think at more than 50% discount. If you go to eboard.cloud, you'll get to see that. For the licenses, also, we are offering quite some substantial discounts. So yes, especially if you're looking for annual licensing, we are happy to engage. And we, in case we do not engage or we do not connect between now and Christmas or till the new year, thank you so much. And from all of us here at Sibasi, we want to wish you a fantastic, Merry Christmas and also a happy New Year 2026. Thank you so much, and back to you, Edwin.
All right, I think like all good things must come to an end. This one is, this is all the time that we have for you with regards to this particular webinar. Thank you so much for joining. Feel free to have a good day and happy festive season ahead. To all of you, bye-bye.